I don't like having butterflies like that, young lady. That was some sort of a comeback. Most importantly, congratulations.
Thank you. You know, in the first half, I was actually a little bit worried. I think that's the first time I've been a little bit worried. Just we couldn't get it going in the first half. They played a zone. Their zone's really big, and we just weren't knocking down our shots on penetration, and people were standing still. But, you know, we knew that going into the half-time, we spoke about it. We knew there's times where Russia have been up by 20 and have nearly lost the game. So we just came out in the second half just being aggressive. Some of our zone offensive plays weren't working, so we decided to go with some man-to-man plays. And so I think it just helped a little bit trying to get penetration. And once we got our momentum to swing our way, I think we'll find, you know, got some people to knock down some shots, got some, you know, Belinda Snell had a great game for us today, and she's been a little bit down, and I just spoke to her this morning, just said, you open, shoot the ball, you know, shoot it with confidence, because that's your game, and she was good for us today, and we just knuckled down in our D, and we're great in the second half.
We'll talk about Belinda's last quarter in a moment. That was stunning, but at halftime, 1 from 12 from the three-point line, and normally you can be a lot more productive, and that's where Australia can hurt their opposition, and to be kept to 25 in the first half is most unusual.
Yeah, we did. We really struggled in the first half. I think, you know, they played a bit of a match-up zone, and there wasn't times where you were sort of open, but you weren't open, and you'd shoot it, and just we weren't confident with our three, and it is true. Once we knock down our threes, we're deadly, and, you know, it opens up the middle for us, but that wasn't working for us today, and then, you know, stepping over, standing in the middle of the key, people get intimidated by it. So we just knew that if we could drag her out a little bit, that we'd be fine. And I think that's what happened in the second half. But, you know, like I've actually been shooting my threes quite well lately, but today I struggled at the three-point line, and so did some other people. But, you know, we were okay in the second half.
And one of the disappointments, from my point of view, just as an observer, was Stepanova virtually had no influence on the game at all.
No, Lauren always does a great job against Stepanova. She did the same at the World Championships 2 years ago. And, you know, Lauren just knows how to play against her. And, you know, you got to try and drag her out of the middle, because all she wants to do is stand in the middle and block shots. So, and that's the good thing about Lauren Jackson. She can step out to the three-point line and shoot the three. So that's why we had to drag her out a little bit. But Lauren always does a great job against her.
Kristi, when we look at the team, there's a significant feel from everyone that you fast forward and the Opals will be there and they'll play off for gold, etc. And we all presume, and I know that's so unfair because it puts an enormous amount of pressure on some team sport like basketball. In the early stages of the game at all, you started well. You got half a dozen in front. Penny Taylor's hands were hot early. Does that ever at all come into the psyche of your game when you look a little bit too far ahead?
I think so. I think sometimes, you know, like I said, like the first half, in the second quarter, I actually got a little bit worried because, and it's something that you probably shouldn't be thinking about, but I just thought, God, if we lose this game, we're going to have to meet USA in the semi-final. So, you know, there is pressure on us, but we don't look at it that way. I mean, the outside might see that there is a lot of pressure on us, but we just take it one game at a time, and we knew this was a big game for us today. We knew that we had to win to finish on top of our pool, so we wouldn't meet USA until the gold medal game. But, you know, usually it goes that we probably meet Russia in the semi-final again. So that's a big confidence booster for us if we do meet them, and, you know, hopefully we can just, you know, come out and play well. And we need to play for 40 minutes. Right now we're not playing a 40-minute basketball game. We're playing in patches and letting teams into the game. And but the good thing is we know how to finish. We know how to run over teams. We know how to wear them down. But I don't know if there's we don't see a lot of pressure on us. We just believe that we should be there anyway.
Jen actually got off her seat today, which was a real surprise. I don't think I've seen that all tournament.
Yeah, I know. Like there was probably a little bit of panic stations in the second quarter. But I think if we can get our studs to step up, and, you know, the good thing is we have so many great players that can step up in different games if somebody's down. And, you know, for me, as long as I run the show and get people the ball and, you know, just be aggressive with my game, it helps everybody else. And just stay poised out there, keep everyone under control. You know, some people get frustrated, and I just say to them, let it go. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. And as long as I can continue the leadership, we'll be okay. The
extraordinary thing also, I think that the first minute of the third quarter, there was a change. We were all hoping that there would be, but there definitely was a change on court when they couldn't get a basket, and we could. Yeah.
The thing is with the Russians that if you start to run over them and you start to wear them down, they start to go individual, and then they don't really know what they're doing out there, and then they start to, fight amongst one another. And we know that because a lot of us play in Russia, and the Russians are actually a team where they try and outscore you and not play the great defense. And second quarter, they did play great defense only because we weren't knocking down our shots, so we're actually hurting ourselves. But, I don't know, I think we just played super in the second half, and we come out being aggressive, and we wanted to get some stops so we could run in our offense, and that's a big part of our game. And if we don't get out and run, we struggle, because then we become our half-court team, and we don't. Sometimes when you're not knocking down your shots, it's hard to get a roll. But yeah, we were good in the third quarter.
And as you mentioned earlier on, Kristi, I think it's worthwhile mentioning the impact that Belinda Snell had in that last quarter. I'll just look at my stats, and she had 11 points in the last quarter, an early 3, and she just oozed confidence as those last few minutes ticked away, and that's such a good sign.
It is. It's a great sign, because she has been down a little bit, and just for her to come out and have a game against a Russian team that's a quality team, for her to do that, it's good confidence for her now going into the medal rounds. And but the thing is we all thrive on it as well. If somebody can knock down a big 3 for us when we really need it, the whole team is then up, and that's what happened in the second half. It was good for us.
Yeah, wonderful result. Before we let you go, the fashion statement, there was a fairly significant contingent of Australians who made bodysuits look as bad as I've probably seen them, and you went over and said hello to a few afterwards. Have you got some mates there?
Actually, Hamish and Andy were there, so it was good to. They actually had a couple of bodysuits, and then all the other partners decided to put bodysuits on. And
not a good look, seriously.
My husband likes to wear the green because he reckons it's slimming on him. So no, it was good. So we got some photos. It was just great to have people like that come to our game, and they're great supporters, and we have a lot of support here with our families and that. So it's good to see them up there having a good time.
Well, officially, you have a stat that no one else can beat, and you're probably aware of this, that you are the smallest player in the basketball tournament. But young lady, you should stand very tall after the performance. Australia winning 75-55. Your own personal contribution, the 8 points. Kristi Harrower, well played, and good luck in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals and whatever happens next at Beijing.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.